I ran a poll on my Facebook page recently asking people, hey, do you think AI is going to affect the structure of church staffing in the next 3 years? Well, I got some interesting feedback, but one of the comments really stood out for me. If that's where we are heading, then the church as we know it, it is finished. As Christians, we're meant to be separated from the world and its influences. And I thought, oh my goodness, I can't agree with that comment at all. And I thought there's a whole one bundle of ways that people are thinking about AI. And I think you can make a series of mistakes with AI if you're a pastor and use it in such wrong ways and approach it in such bad ways that will have a negative impact on your ministry and on your church. The first wrong way, the first mistake that pastors are doing with AI is using it to write sermons. If you jump into ChatGPT or any one of the AI tools and say, hey, write me a sermon on prayer, use 3 points, give me a couple of scriptures on it, bang, 3 minutes later, you're going to get some AI slop. Yes, that's what you're going to get. You're not going to get a sermon you can preach. You're just going to get some slop. My style of sermon prep way back when I was a younger pastor was I would dive into the scriptures over a couple of days, sometimes even over a period of a few days, and I'd meditate and I'd study and I'd dig into the languages and the context. And then I would add some thoughts of what I really wanted to say to the church and the call to action and the stories. Then I'd dive into commentaries and check out what I was going to say wasn't wrong. I wasn't going down some bad direction, but I had a process of mulling, meditating, taking hours to write the sermon. And back when I was a young pastor, I'd get up really early on a Sunday morning and I would write the sermon out by hand all again, just to really dig it deep into my heart so I could preach it from my heart. I think using AI to help you brainstorm ideas, help you kind of think through aspects of it, even talking with an AI, I've done that, talking through some processes about your thoughts about a certain aspect. I think you can use it in that preaching, but never, never, never preach AI slop. It will damage your ministry. It will affect your own spirituality and it won't help your church. I think the second mistake pastors are making with AI is the head in the sand. I'm going to avoid it. It's not right. It's like this person on my Facebook page said, it's of the world, and we don't want that worldly influences. And I think, my goodness, you're missing out on so much. Not AI slop with sermons, but maybe sermon titles that provoke a bit of curiosity. Maybe some YouTube titles, maybe brainstorming ideas. You know, it was interesting in the poll that I ran. It wasn't a huge sample. It was 5 people. 3 said, yes, AI will impact church staffing. What impacted me was that 2 people said, no, it won't have any effect at all. Trust me, AI is going to impact the world in significant ways. It's already doing it, but AI is going to change the workplace in the next 3 years. AI agents are coming and they will take over administrative, boring, repetitive tasks that people have to do now in an office place that I think will transform that office place in significant ways. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when a fax machine turned up at our church. Yes, I am that old. And I remember the excitement of plugging in the fax machine and it kind of got hooked up and connected through a telephone line to a fax machine on the other side of the world. And you could send a message and people would get it immediately on the other side of the world. Wow. Well, today with smartphones, that seems very ho-hum, John, boring. Yep, doing that all the time. But when fax machines came, they were like a revolution in communication. And you could have been a pastor back then and said, oh, we won't have one of those things. They're worldly. Don't put your head in the sand about AI. Become a fan of it, use it, jump into it. It will help you in all sorts of different ways. If you're loving the comment today, subscribe, like, check out all the links in the description below. Have a look at my sprint coaching program. I think it could really help you in 2025 achieve all that you want to achieve this year. So what's the third mistake pastors are making with AI? Well, I think it's staying at AI 101. I just get in there every now and again to do a search instead of Google. It's better than Google for searching. I'll try that. Sometimes I'll just ask it to help me out with a little tech issue. I got a problem here with a little desktop computer issue. I'll get it to solve that. But they're not using it to become creative. For instance, one of the ways that I use AI that I think a pastor could do as well is I actually take the video that you're watching now, and AI helps me turn it into a blog post. I load the audio file into Word transcribes it, I drop the transcript into AI, and I give it a whole bundle of instructions of how to turn it into a blog post that would suit my website. Then I'm able to take that blog post and put it onto my website. Imagine if you put your sermons into blog posts, put them on your website, so people could actually read, maybe as well as listen to the podcast. There's an idea for you. Using creativity, there are tools out there, Sermon Shots, Pulpit AI, Google them, or ask ChatGPT about them. Sermon Shots and Pulpit AI have all sorts of great tools of taking sermons, turning them into small group discussion notes, Facebook posts, all sorts of aspects of being able to turn a sermon into something that you can repurpose into content in different ways. Don't stay at AI 101. Now, let me recommend a tool to you that I use. It's not an affiliate link. I don't get any kickback from it, but it's Hey Magi, created by a great friend of mine, Dustin Stout. I'll put a link in the comments below. Check it out. Now, full disclosure, I get use of this tool for free. Some years ago, I bought a lifetime deal to one of Dustin's other tools that didn't quite take off. So when he created this tool, he said, I'm giving all my lifetime members of the other tool free access to Hey Magi. So I get it for free. So I use it every single week in creative ways. Think about the ways you can use it. I think maybe you've got to write a difficult email, a difficult letter to someone, and you don't want it to sound too harsh, or you want it to sound a bit more candid. Write what you've got, put it into AI, but give it very precise instructions. Look, I think I'm being a bit too harsh in this email, but I want to be candid enough to get the point across. Can you rewrite this for me so that it sounds like me? I mean, you can create a persona for this stuff in AI as well, so that it's realizing who you are. You don't have to keep telling it who you are. You can create a persona that it can work with. Magi can do that for you. And then it'll put back to you this rewritten email. Now, you may go, gee, that's better, but I think I need to tweak it a bit to sound a bit more like me. But use AI for any content creation you're doing, just to sharpen it up, to spark it up. But don't write your sermons. Don't preach AI slop. Trust me, it won't work. I pray that you'll jump into AI and use it brilliantly to advance the cause of Christ.